We are back with a special edition of Out Front on this debate night in America. So what's really going to happen tonight from the presidential candidates? Well, you're going to find out right now. Perhaps the best debate that you will see of the entire evening. We have Rudy Giuliani here, of course, who has been an advisor working for Donald Trump here, and Mark Cuban, supporter for Hillary Clinton. Two very outspoken men, former mayor. Billionaire rival of Donald Trump, I would say, at this point in many ways. All right, Mayor Giuliani, let me start with you, because of the topics that are going to come up tonight, one of them is going to be fitness to be president.
That's the last one on the list. I don't know if it can be last, but it's the last one on the list.
It may be the last one on the list. I don't know what order they're going to come up.
Yeah,
but it is crucial, right? You can't win if people don't believe you're going to have the fitness.
Sure, of course.
So the most recent poll, Washington Post, ABC, 62% of Americans say Trump does not have the fitness to be president. 59% of Americans say Hillary Clinton does have the temperament to be president. Why are 62% of the American people wrong?
Well, you know, I can't analyze polls. You can do all kind of polling. What he's going to have to do is demonstrate that he's fit to be president, and that because of the FBI finding her extremely careless in the use of national security information, not only isn't she fit to be president, I couldn't hire her as an assistant U.S. attorney. She would have been disqualified as an assistant U.S. attorney. If that was on the background report of someone I was trying to hire as an assistant U.S. attorney, I couldn't hire him because they've been extremely careless in the handling of sensitive government documents. That would be an automatic disqualifier. Then you look at all of these emails, and you look at the way the Clinton Foundation was run as a pay-for-play operation of the State Department. I mean, we're looking at somebody who, if it wasn't for Hillary Clinton, like the general, for example, who's getting prosecuted for 2 pieces of information that he confirmed, he didn't even put out. If she was anybody else, she'd be under indictment right now.
Can I respond?
Yes.
And I say this with all due respect,
Sure.
Mayor Giuliani, you're an American hero, and I respect everything you've done. But everything you just said is incorrect about Hillary Clinton. 100% absolutely incorrect. The way she handled classified documents when she was Secretary of State was in hard copy. The only emails that she dealt with were emails that came her way but were up-classified, and as we know, they're subject to a lot of discussion about what truly is classified. The government has made an effort to have less classified documents, so a big argument could be made about what's classified. And the same thing applies to the foundation. They actually do good work.
Well, here, first of all, I'm not wrong about the fact that Jim Comey found her handling of her confidential government information to be extremely careless.
Right,
No, that's not what he said. No, that's not what he said.
Absolutely.
What he said was the group was. He didn't point to her specifically. He said what the group was careless and how they handled the server.
He said she was extremely careless. He also went on to point out in the 302, you'll note, she was asked, did she know what the designation C meant?
Right.
Right.
She said she didn't.
And then
she had said, Mark, before, believe me, I know what classified is.
Right.
Let me finish. If she doesn't know what the designation C means as Secretary of State, she shouldn't be a Secretary of State. I was briefed in 1981. I remember my entry briefing. I know what C means. It means confidential. It's a level of classification. She said she thought it was alphabetical order. The FBI agent never went on to ask her, was there an A, a B, a D, or an E? That's a flat-out lie to the FBI. Martha Stewart went to jail.
No, you're apples and oranges, Mayor Giuliani. First of all, right?
What's apples and oranges about
First
that?
of all, the classification, it was not marked as classified. Now, I don't know about you. When I look at emails, I may not read every single word in a document, right?
Well, then I would make you Secretary of State.
When you have
or president.
When you have thousands of things that you're going through, you're not going to read. And by the way, when Donald Trump started talking about the little C markings, he got it wrong.
Copied on as opposed to a direct email.
She only emailed with 13 people in total. That's it. And so, of all those documents, most of them were she was just on the list. She wasn't even sourcing them.
If she didn't know, here's the way it looks. I'll show you how it looks. There's a parenthesis.
Right.
Then there are 2 more.
That's not the point.
And it says C.
That's not the point.
That means, let me finish. What that means to anyone who got a briefing by the FBI before they became Secretary of State, or as I was Associate Attorney General, that means that's confidential, top secret information. She said,
copied on an email like
she
that.
said, she said,
not a header.
She said she didn't know what it meant. She said she didn't remember her briefing by the CIA. I remember my briefing by the CIA. How come she doesn't remember it? She doesn't remember her exit interview by the CIA. 39 times during that interview, she couldn't remember. Now, she either has a seriously flawed memory or she's lying.
You are like pulling things. This is like out of the X-Files, Mayor Giuliani.
X-Files? No, they're out of the FBI files.
So first of all, if a document is not marked classified, if a classified document is not marked classified, then it's incorrectly marked, correct?
No. Many documents that I obtained when I was associate attorney that were not marked classified, I knew they were classified. I'll give you an example. It was my job when I worked for President Reagan to approve FISA wires. They weren't not all necessarily marked top secret, but I knew they were top secret by the very nature of the information contained in it. So I had the power to mark it top secret,
right?
Which is what she should have done. And when I saw C, wait a second, let me finish. When I saw C, now unlike her, I knew it meant confidential. Now, that's a flat-out lie.
No, you're so wrong. Okay, first of all, she's an OCA, which means she has the opportunity to decide what is or what is not classified, right? She made the professional decision that it wasn't classified, as did the people who work for her. Somebody disagreed. Disagreements in classification are commonplace. That's why there are hearings. That's why there are different departments that work with these things. That's why they're isolated.
So for the record, I want to make the point. The American people have an issue with the way she handled it.
Massive amounts.
The bottom line is, when it comes to temperate to be president, they have an issue with Donald Trump, not with Hillary Clinton.
All right.
Well,
then he's also got to make the point.
You know him. Why do you think he has the temperament?
She got a subpoena from Congress, and she destroyed 33,000
Okay,
emails.
but answer my question.
That's a lot.
Answer my
a
question.
couple of them.
You know him now. Why do you think he has the temperament?
I think Donald Trump has the temperament to be president.
About grabbing women's genitals and all these things.
Because I think he's a person who has had a great deal of success in business. I think he has the ability to get things done, and I think he has the ability to change Washington. Hillary Clinton is the poster child for basically getting rid of the situation in Washington, the rigged system in Washington. She's a poster child for term limits. She's been there forever, and she's gotten nothing done. When she was the senator from New York...
Okay, hold on. Let me give you a chance to respond, Mark.
She promised upstate New York 220,000 jobs. They lost 300,000.
So let's talk about his great success in business. Name any of his products that are still successful. He cheated 6,000 people from Trump University, hardworking men and women. He took more than 6,000 people. He took tens of thousands of dollars from me. That's success in business. Trump games, Trump cards, Trump steaks, Trump clothes, when somebody has to give their name and sell their name that often, that tells me they're desperate. He has not had a long track record in business. I give him credit, he's done okay in real estate, but everything else he's been a major failure at. And now he's crushing his brands. The operations, the success of his hotels and his club is declining rapidly as we speak, and it makes no sense what he's doing, because everything he says hurts his brand even more.
Well, the fact is, I was just at his hotel. It was fabulous. I was just at Doral. Doral is terrific.
In Florida.
His two golf courses in Scotland are two of the best golf courses in the world. He's had great success in business, and he has, as everyone...
Why all the failures?
Everyone's had failures.
Yeah, but not that many.
I had failures in elections.
Not that many.
Everybody has failures in business, and
he's been sued 3,500 times. I've been sued less than 10.
These school situations. Well, when I was mayor, I was sued 92,000 times.
Well, a little bit different. Obviously, that's a different position. But in business, it reflects how we treat
people doing bold things sometimes fail.
Trump stakes is bold. Trump playing cards is bold. Trump card games is
whatever. Right. He has made a great success. He's got a great empire now, and he represents change for Washington as opposed to 30 years of the same thing.
$950 million in 1995.
We are going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and talk much more about what 53% of this population needs to hear tonight. We'll be right back.
Mind making a run?
I got it.
And we are back with our debate before a debate. And I promised here that we were going to talk about something 53% of the population care about. Actually, I'm going to change my tone here. 100% care about it, because everybody should care about this issue. All right, the issue of Donald Trump's treatment of women. Mary, I believe personally this is a very substantive issue and very germane to the entire campaign. So when he has responded to the multiple women that have come forward, some of the things he's said in recent days, that they are horrible, horrible liars, they are reprehensible people, and of one of the women, believe me, she would not be my first choice. Are those the words that he should be using to talk about these women who are accusing him?
Let's put it in context. He apologized for the terrible language that he used. You know, he admitted it was terrible language. He shouldn't have used it on that tape with Billy Bush, what was that, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And then these women come forward all of a sudden, kind of orchestrated, all at the same time, using kind of a script, all the same thing, groping. And he believes and knows it's untrue. He is being false.
So let me ask you that, and then I want Mark to back in here.
He is justifiably...
Everything that goes wrong...
He is justifiably upset about the allegations against him. Plus, very little attention has been given to the witnesses that have come out that corroborate the fact that this may not be true, including the English gentleman who observed something totally different.
Okay, gentleman
may not be the right word. Another one. Well, I don't know, whatever he is.
But let me just say here, because I think this is important.
Nobody's perfect.
I know a woman.
My witnesses used to be terrible sometimes.
Mayor Giuliani, I know a woman that this happened to, with Donald Trump. All right, I know her story to be true. So again, I just ask you this: are you positive that he never did anything? Because the reason these women
all I can tell you is I've known him.
Because the
I have known him for 28.
Anderson Cooper asked the question, and he said that man just lied. So now
I have known him for 28 years. I've never seen him do anything remotely close to that. I know men who are touchy, feely. I know men who sometimes seem to act inappropriate in the way in which they touch or handle women. I don't like it. But Donald Trump is not one of them. He's always been a gentleman with women. My wife and I both have been with him often, my daughters, and he's always treated them gentlemanly, courteously, kind of courtly.
Courtly?
I mean,
do you believe him, or do you believe these now at least 9 women who have come forward?
No, I mean, who knows if it's all true, but I know 2. Right, that it won't come forward. And I know with absolute certainty, they told me back in 2000, her boyfriend and her, she's not going to come forward. I know there's another woman, happened in Chicago 2 years ago. Neither one was sexual assault. In one case, he walked into a massage room where she was under a sheet getting a massage and hit on her. Another case, it was a rude comment in an elevator. But it's not even, to me, when something goes wrong for Donald, he never owns it. Right? He didn't come out and say, you know what, I've made mistakes in my past. It's always a conspiracy theory. It's always somebody is out to get him.
True. That's not true.
What does he own, Mr. Mayor?
Well, he's owned the fact that that tape recording was inappropriate.
Well, because there's a tape. He has no choice.
Correct, and it was the wrong thing to do.
How can you disavow a tape?
And he's apologized.
So let me ask the question to you this way.
And earlier on, he apologized if he had heard anyone in some of the comments that he had made around the time of the con incident.
So I understand you believe him. If you changed your mind, or someone came to you and told you it was a story you believed, would it change your support for Donald Trump? If all of a sudden tonight something happens and you know that he did these things.
If somebody came to you and said Hillary Clinton murdered someone and you believed it, would it change your mind about it?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, but that's a hypothetical situation.
So he answered the hypothetical. Would
the answer is I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
So you're not going to answer the hypothetical.
I do not believe it. He's my friend. I know him. I've seen him with women. In fact, my wife will tell you this is one of the last things you would think of Donald Trump, of the bad things you might think of him or the inappropriate things, and I don't think many bad things of him at all. But the reality is this is the last thing you would think of.
So I just want to be clear, Mark, when you talk about your examples, these are people one was a friend, the other one was a friend of a friend, right? A secondhand.
The first one was a friend who was dating a friend of mine, and they told me the story contemporaneously.
Okay.
I'd forgotten about
when it happened.
Yeah, and I'd forgotten about it until he got back in touch with me. Another one was a woman who contacted me and told me the story because she knew of my interest. And I asked her, would you consider coming forward? She said no, and I just left it at that. The other woman is married, kids, doesn't want to deal with it, and I don't blame her. I wouldn't interject her in
You've known Donald Trump also for a long time.
Not
incredibly close friends, but you know him, and obviously you both are reality television stars. Do you believe him?
Which part?
You don't believe this, right? You believe the women.
I believe the women. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, without question.
So, of course, on this standard, Bill Clinton should have been removed from office.
And if he was running, it'd be an issue.
But I mean, but on this standard, Bill Clinton did far worse than anything Donald Trump is accused of.
And of course, we can't corroborate those.
No.
I don't know.
We can corroborate a few.
But he's not running, Mr. Mayor. He's not running.
I'm talking about the stories that Mark was saying. We can't corroborate the.
But we can corroborate Monica Lewinsky taking advantage of an intern is something you get fired for as the CEO of a company. So you would say to me.
So why does that matter for
Clinton
Hillary
should have been thrown out.
Why do you believe that
Clinton
matters?
Should have been thrown out of office.
But why does it matter for her?
Well, it matters because you've got to deal with these things equally and fairly, and you're not.
But she's not the one who.
Well, what about the one they gave the $185,000 to?
Assaulted anyone or allegedly assaulted anyone?
But he didn't just assault someone; he had sex with her. He went beyond that.
Right, but I'm saying that wasn't her. I'm just saying that wasn't her, and
he
he's
took
not
advantage of an intern.
He is not running.
And it was okay for him to be in office. I mean, that was okay. Let him stay in office.
So now we're going to question Melania, Mrs. Trump, and how she dealt with it?
Melania Trump dealt with it by saying, that she accepts his explanation of it.
Not the point. Not the point. We shouldn't judge her for dealing with such a difficult situation any more than we should judge Hillary Clinton for something her husband did 20 years ago.
Well, these women who came forward a few weeks ago said she attacked them. You can see it in books, in Stephanopoulos' book, in the half-novelized Joel Klein book. The bimbo squad that was set up to go after all the women that Bill Clinton and the illegitimate children that he may have had.
Illegitimate children that were disproven.
All right. It was
but do you see the point? Do you see where some of us have? Well, see, but that's the whole thing. You talk about you don't like to deal with hypotheticals, but then you go into all the
Monica Lewinsky wasn't disproven.
No,
Monica Lewinsky would be in an insane asylum if she didn't have that dress. They were trying to drive that woman insane. Lucky she had the dress to prove that Bill Clinton was a flat-out liar under oath.
But Mr.
And so
Mayor,
was Hillary
this
Clinton.
is the issue. This is the issue.
Yep.
It's dealing with external situations that don't directly reflect either candidate.
Good.
Right? This is a situation.
So let's
forget
forget both their past. And let's talk about the future. Who would be better for the future? Somebody who lowers taxes or somebody who raises taxes?
So let's talk about the taxes.
Someone who renegotiates trade deals or someone who accepts.
Okay, so let's talk about
someone who stands up to ISIS and is willing to say Islamic extremist terrorism and puts us on offense so we stop being on defense. We have had more Islamic
by the way, has used those
attacks.
words. She has used Islamic
forced by
It's Barack Obama who doesn't.
So can we talk about taxes first?
I'm going to give you the final chance for rebuttal.
Okay.
Right now.
So on taxes, he's increasing spending. He wants to increase infrastructure spending, healthcare spending, everything. He's trying to one-up her in all spending, and he's going to reduce taxes. With everything Steve Moore has tried to come up with, any of the potential upside is in years 9 and 10. In years 1 through 4, when he might be president, the deficit goes through the roof. We have a real chance of being in a recession because he wants to cut taxes dramatically and increase his spending dramatically. That doesn't work.
Not if you score properly renegotiating trade deals. Not if you score properly. Not if you score properly returning capital from overseas at a 10% rate.
That is incorrect.
Can I finish without being interrupted?
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Well, you say I'm wrong.
You are wrong.
I am not wrong. Look, this is what Kennedy did. This is what Reagan did. I worked for Reagan.
Well, Kennedy cut taxes. They were like 92%. Okay, that is very different than we are now.
I was with Ronald Reagan when he cut taxes, and I saw our economy boom for 10 years. So he's going beyond cutting taxes. He's also bringing businesses back by reducing the corporate rate from 35 to 15%, which you have to admit drives a lot of companies out of the United States. He's having a 10% repatriation rate. That will bring an enormous amount of money back in. That's something Kennedy and Reagan did not do, and he's going to renegotiate NAFTA.
First of all, the people who have money to repatriate can borrow against that money, so that's not an issue, right? Moving companies overseas is a small issue, but it isn't.
It isn't a small issue if you lost your job.
Okay.
Well, that's not going to change jobs because you're not bringing back 1992
So I will simply
factories.
promise.
I will have a different job for him. If I lost my job because Pfizer moved this factory to Ireland because they only have a 12%.
They move their home base there.
12% rate in Ireland, 35% rate in the United States.
Which, by the way, Ireland's getting whacked for.
Obligation.
They're getting
happened
crushed
to
for
Apple.
that. Absolutely right, they are. All right, thank you both. This will be continued tonight at 9 o'clock. Like to have you both back. Thank you.
I hope they shake hands.
They shook hands. And now let's go to you, Wolf.
All right, Aaron, thanks.